This powerful truth can stop mom guilt for good. And I'm going to give you 5 reasons to back that up.
We are Vicki and Dr. Paul Jenkins, and with 30 years of experience as a speech-language pathologist and a clinical psychologist, and as parents, we want to help you stop mom guilt.
And you're a mom, Vicki, so this has got some credibility. This is the powerful truth. Let's just get it out up front, and then we'll get the reasons behind it for you. You are the perfect mother for your child. If you really believed that, what would happen to the mommy guilt? Now, can we establish that it's true? Let's look at the reasons behind this. You are better equipped, better suited to be the mother of your child than anybody on the planet. I'm coming from a background also of having done 13 years of child custody evaluations for the court. This is where custody is disputed between multiple parties, sometimes 3 or 4 parties. And I got to go in and try to figure out what's going to be best for these kids. Your children prefer you to anybody else on the planet to be their mom. And I learned this from some of the kids that I was evaluating. Right. But I also believe this from a very philosophical standpoint. There is some reason why you were matched up with this child.
This just really hits home. I remember one time I was at a play with a friend, and she had dealt with a lot of mom guilt. Because her kids, again, she was kind of looking at the outcome, and her kids had kind of chosen some paths that really went against what she had been trying to teach them as a mom. And I remember looking at her and said, but hey, I can't think of anyone else that could love this son more than you, which makes you the perfect mom for him. Yeah. And it just kind of like the lights went on for her, because when we get confused, is there someone else that could give my kids more resources, more opportunities, maybe a better chance to meet some major potential that they have that I didn't even know about? Possibly. But nobody else can love them the way that I love them. Can't even come close to it. And so if we get really clear about what is my job as a mom, oh yeah, it's to love my child no matter what, and even if, and I am the perfect parent for that. And that can take away some of the guilt.
We see this with children, even infants, and sometimes especially with infants. I was going to say especially with infants. We've got 5 grandkids now, and we love those grandkids, and we're experienced parents, and we know how to take care of them. Guess who they prefer? Mom. They always prefer their mom, and it's not, kids who are old enough to know. It's starting right from birth. There's an attachment. There's something very special about that. That's a strong reason why this statement that you are the perfect mother for your child is actually true. This leads me into the second reason that occurred to me. You're watching this video. You're experiencing some guilt. Now, that's not fun, but it indicates that you are conscious and aware. You're tracking this. It says to me as a psychologist that there's something in your mind that is saying, hey, this is really important. I need to do a better job. And that, to me, is an indicator or a reason for the statement that we made about you're the perfect mother for these children.
Yeah, the fact that you know that there are things that you can do to help improve yourself, even tells you that you're on the right track.
And look, we can all improve. When is that going to stop being true?
Right.
So we're not going to let that fuel the guilt, but let's take it as an indicator that maybe you're on the right track.
Yeah, I'm on the right track. I do want to be the best mom I can be, and I'm here to learn.
As you're watching this, you probably know someone who would really benefit to watch this video as well. Would you share this video with them?
Your weaknesses do not disqualify you from being a good parent, but they do tell you what areas you need to strengthen and work on.
So here's a psychological tip that we can use to back this up. There are 2 different kinds of guilt, maybe more, but let's talk about these 2. There's realistic guilt because something's out of place or we could improve something. Or there's neurotic guilt. Now, I use the word neurotic because it's just a little crazy, but we all do it from time to time. Now, the realistic guilt means, oh, I yelled at my child. Oh, that stings. I
That's
feel
not the
bad
parent
about
I
that.
want to show up as,
Right,
right?
that's not who I want to be. Okay, that's realistic guilt. Yeah, you yelled at your child. That's bad form. Let's see if we can improve on that. That tells you what to work on. But then there's neurotic guilt, which takes some of the realistic guilt and then just blows it out of proportion to where, yeah, not only that, but, and you start going through in your mind all of the things that are wrong and creating evidence within yourself that you're not good enough.
Well, and I wonder too, sometimes the realistic guilt is about the action versus the neurotic guilt. Somehow it becomes you. I'm a bad
more of
person.
a
I'm
character,
horrible.
yeah.
It goes into the shaming.
So when our son was just learning how to drive, he drove into our driveway in the minivan,
With a bunch of friends in the car.
hit the accelerator instead of the brake, and he drove right through all of the bicycles and into the shed. Caused quite a bit of property damage. Nobody was hurt, thankfully.
Right.
But I remember as I watched him see that he'd made this mistake, and the storm clouds just started to get, and he ran into the house. Well, I followed him in, and by the time I got to him, nobody liked him, and he couldn't do anything right. And do you see how we blow it out of proportion? Yeah. He made a mistake. Realistic guilt is, oh, I just caused some property damage. I need to take care of that. Neurotic guilt is, I'm no good to anyone for anything. See how it gets blown up? Now, I use that as an example, but are you doing that?
Get curious and look at the way that you're responding and just ask yourself, is this realistic guilt or is it neurotic guilt?
Here's another reason why you are the perfect mother for your children. Maybe they're here to teach you, not the other way around. Did you ever think about that? Who's teaching whom? How does this fit with your experience, Vicki?
It reminds me a little bit about just the other day, I was talking with a mom whose son is autistic, and the second son, another son, was just given a similar diagnosis a year or two ago. And just recently at the pediatricians, they were talking about the third child might possibly be on the spectrum as well. And I thought it was so interesting because the doctor, she said her pediatrician, when she first mentioned these few little triggers and indicators, the doctor said, oh no, this can't be happening a third child to you. And her thought was, well, actually, who's better equipped for it than me? My children have already taught me so much about how to be a mom of children with autism. And I thought, oh yeah, they had already taught her a lot. She was in a really good place to be a mom of a third child with autism. I thought that was an interesting insight that she had yesterday.
Vicki, we've done some other videos about how parenting is one of the best personal development programs on the planet. And it comes right back to this. What if we could get outside of our own thinking, our own destructive pride, if you will, that has us thinking this is all about me, it's all about me being good enough, and switch over to, okay, I'm in a relationship with these children for some reason. What do they have to teach me?
Right.
And notice that it's refining you, and it's teaching you, and it's bringing you to a higher, better version of who you are. Let's wrap this up with one final reason why it's true that you are the perfect mother for your children. A lot of parents feel like they're not doing enough. In fact, have you ever felt that you are doing enough?
There's always more you could do, right?
Always. It could always be better. And the best parents on the planet can identify things that they could improve. So let's accept that we are where we are. Do you remember the quote by Maya Angelou?
Yes.
Who said, if I remember it correctly, do the best you know how to do. And when you know better,
you'll do better.
Do better.
One of the principals at my school is constantly saying this because really that's what it's about. I'm doing the absolute best I can right now. And sometimes when you look back and you think you should have done things a little bit differently, truly, truly believe that you did the very best you could in that moment with that amount of sleep, with that amount of patience, with that amount of whatever. You really
Yes.
did do the best. I don't know anyone that says, I'm only going to show up as a part parent today. You know, you don't go into any situation saying, I'm going to purposely do my worst or less than my best. We do the best we can. And as you
Yes.
know more, you do, as you know better, you do better.
This has been my personal and professional experience that people do this, and I believe that you already do this. You're doing the best you know how to do. One of my friends put it this way too, Vicki. She said, do the best you know how to do with what you have some of the time. And we give ourselves just a little bit of an out because we're all imperfect human beings. But look, you're already doing this. You're doing the best you know how to do with what you have and what you know some of the time. And as you know better, you do better. You're already doing this. We can't ask you to do more than that, except to keep at it. Keep at it. You've got this. And there are so many resources available to you to support you in this most important job in the world.
One final thought. Remember that our children's outcomes are up to them. And really, our job is to love them no matter what, and even if, and to enjoy the journey.
Connect with that. Let's see what happens to the guilt as you lay hold on that truth that you are the perfect mother for your children and that you're already doing your job to love them no matter what and even if. You've got this and we've got you. Who takes care of the parents? Cue up that next video right now. Just click on it and let's go farther into this, how to take care of yourself.